30 minutes on the shot clock. Let's see how many coins I can make simply sniping cards in Madden 25 Ultimate Team. Now, Salsa family, and welcome back to another Madden 25 Ultimate Team video. Welcome back to the 30-minute live sniping challenge. In this one, we got a 30-minute video for you guys where I'm going to be sniping as many cards as I possibly can and seeing how many coins I can make by simply sniping in 30 minutes. Now, to be honest with you, sniping is a coin making method that I really haven't talked about a ton on the channel, and the way it works is simple. Take, for example, this 95 overall Roquan Smith card right here. It says he's selling for about like 150,000 coins. What you would do is you would be looking for this specific card for, call it 80k, and if you find him, you buy him and you resell him for 110. Now, I know that sounds very simple, but it's a little bit more difficult than that. There's a couple other steps you guys gotta follow. Now, what I'm gonna be doing in today's video is I'm gonna be using a website to help me when it comes to finding snipes in this game. I am using Mud Exchange, which is a site that is gonna show me every single snipe as it pops up in Madden 25 Ultimate Team. Now, if you watched in this video don't have Mud Exchange, that's totally fine. I'll continue to talk about Mud Exchange later in this one, but if you don't have Mud Exchange, you can go through here and follow the filters that I'm using in today's video, and it's absolutely gonna work. It'll absolutely find you deals. Now, to be honest, this is a video style that I've really never made before, so it's gonna be a little bit more chill. I've got a bunch of questions on Twitter from you guys that I'll be answering as I'm going through and finding my snipes, but obviously in this video, I will be using Mud Exchange to find my deals, and the way I get my filter started on Mud Exchange is very simple. I'll go to the newest tab on my auction block right here, and then all I'm doing is I'm putting a name in the search bar. So say, for example, we want to find Tiki Barber, who it says we can buy at 398k. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a KI space BA. That's going to be the easiest way to filter down by name. Instead of spelling the full name out, it's significantly more easier to do it this way. Now, let me show you what filter I'm personally using on Mud Exchange right here. All I have done is I have gone on over to the Snipe Spotter dashboard, and then in the filtering tab, I put in minimum overall as 93. In this video, I don't really want to be sniping 90 overall players. That's kind of no fun. There's not a ton of profit margin in there, so we're looking for 93 plus overall players, and all I'm doing is I'm looking at these deals. If there's a card that pops up on the screen that looks like he's got 10 to 15,000 coins of profit margin or more, I'm filtering by his name. I'm on the newest tab. I'm going to take a quick kind of just eye test when I go on over to my filter. Say, for example, we're looking at Garrett Wilson. I believe it said there was one that was going to pop up at 250k. I would just do a quick eye test and be like, okay, I see one at 340. That's kind of telling me there's some margin. I would make my buy if I saw that card. And yeah, let me sit back in my chair a little bit. Let's get into sniping right here. I'm going to be flipping between this screen and the Madden 25 Ultimate Team screen. The first card that I'm seeing is Ezra Cleveland. Now, I will say, not every single time a card pops up on Mud Exchange are you going to find it in the auction block. It says there's an Ezra Cleveland coming up for 150k. I don't see that card quite yet. I will say, when it comes to using Mud Exchange and it comes to using the auction block, sometimes Mud Exchange is faster than the block, so you got to take a couple refreshes, but sometimes you're just not going to see the deal. Sometimes someone else bought it, sometimes it just didn't pop up, so it's not 100% foolproof. But as you go through and continue using the site and continue kind of just flipping on over to the auction block, you'll see these cards getting posted. Now, if you don't have Mud Exchange and you kind of just want to do this naturally, I would say the 95 to 96 overall filter is your sweet spot. As you guys can see, that's kind of where I'm seeing the majority of deals posted up right here. We're going to see a Jordan Meredith that it looks like should be up for, what is it, 46,000 coins. We'll see if that's going to be posted up. Jordan Meredith for 46k. I don't see him quite yet. I'll take a couple of refreshes. Again, not a super large profit margin, but if we see this card, we'd sell him for what, like 55, 60, make a little bit after tax. Now, like I said, not every single deal is going to pop up. So as we go through this video, that's why it's a little bit longer. That's why it's a 30-minute video, a 30-minute live snipe. It's not like just going through and showing you highlights. No, I want to show you everything when it comes to finding deals in this game. And Mud Exchange is actually a pretty fun way of finding snipe. And actually, I think a pretty entertaining video to watch. We got a TJ Watt supposedly posted up for 93k. Let's see if we're going to find that TJ Watt posted up for 93k. I'm going to filter on over to my auction block, and I got to get these scenes properly right here. I got to make sure I'm flipping between these properly. I don't see the TJ Watt posted up quite yet. We'll take a couple of refreshes. 93k is the number we're looking for. Will one pop up at that price point? I don't see it quite yet. Obviously, a good bit of competition in the market right here when it comes to snipe. This isn't just like we're sniping on a Tuesday night. No, this is a Saturday morning. There's a lot of people that are probably looking for deals right now, I would think. And as we wait for cards to pop up in the background that I think are worth filtering to on the auction block, let's answer some of your questions. The first question that I have down below is, who was your inspiration to start YouTube? That is a very, very easy answer. Do any of you guys remember OG iMaverick? OG iMav Dude, that was the homie. I was Team Trent. Me and my friends would watch those videos every single day after school. Mutt Wars, an absolutely epic series. So shout out to you, IMAV. If it wasn't for you, I don't think you guys would know me, and I don't think you guys would be watching my YouTube videos. Again, we're just waiting for deals to pop up in the background right here. But IMAV, an absolute legend. I was a big fan of him. I also watched a lot of Yes Theory. I don't know if you guys know that channel. Kind of not like an alt channel, but a channel that I guess isn't as aligned with the gaming content that I make. But I loved Yes Theory videos back in the day. I don't know if I'd call them like an inspiration, but I definitely really like their content. Let's just take a look at Byron Murphy right here, see if we can get lucky. Actually, we'll go Levante David. Levante David, 97 overall. Let's filter it down. Levante David, we want at 234, and we can supposedly sell him at 298. As you guys can see, we see Levante right here at 234, exactly like Mud Exchange told us, and we're gonna hopefully sell this card for like 298. That looks like a little profit margin in there. Let's see how much he sold for. When it comes to recents, I see a 275 sale. That would be some solid profit after tax. So we'll put this card up for like 278 right here, and let's hope he's able to sell relatively quickly. If he sells for 278, that's like 250 after tax, which obviously that works. That's a good bit of profit margin right here. We'll put him up for 275. I think he'll sell right here. Let's flip back on over to Mud Exchange and wait for these deals to pop up. It says Garrett Wilson. I see a Ken Houston. I see a Rocket Ronnie Hickman. I'm going to try Rocket right here at 45K. Again, like I said, these deals aren't popping up every single time, so take this with a grain of salt. You're not going to find your price every single time, but here's Ronnie Hickman at 45,000 coins, exactly like it said. It said we can sell this card for 73K potentially. Worst case, we're getting 58 for him, so that's solid margin in there. Obviously, there's some big snipes that get posted up. It says like Garrett Wilson would be a massive deal, and those are some of the deals that when you find them, you're really profiting. Ronnie Hickman, if we sell him for 57K, we make a little bit of profit. It's not a ton right here, but he did just sell at 57,000 coins, and this card actually is really good. If you're starting Madden 25 Ultimate Team, Ronnie Hickman is an absolute machine. Jason Pierre-Paul right here. We'll filter down by him. Obviously, as you guys can see, these 93 overall players, super snipeable, very snipeable, and they will sell for a pretty good price. Reason being is because they all go into the Team Diamond, or sorry, the All-Star Athlete 95 overall sets. You need these 93 to 94s, so we find JPP at 29K. We only sold for 35,000 coins. Damn, these cards have come down in price a lot. Now, 35K is still profit after tax. That's still a few thousand coins, but not as good as I would have thought. I do think 93s are definitely an interesting section in the market to be sniping on. You'll find deals there somewhat consistently, I would say, and they do have a solid floor as players. Reason being is obviously the fact that people need these cards to go into those 95 overall sets. As you guys can see in the background, we're seeing some deals coming in. William Perry, I don't see crazy margin. Jonathan Greenard, I don't see crazy margin. Let's continue answering some questions. Another question that someone asked me was NFL Combine cards worth it or not worth it? Should I be buying them? Should I be adding them to my team? Absolutely. EA Sports actually made a change today. So on the Redoxed NFL Combine cards, as you guys can see, like this Malcolm Jenkins, you can add the token in for training. So instead of needing a Combine token to upgrade those players, you can actually put training into those cards, which is electric. That is massive. If you go through and get Quentin Nelson, that means your entire O-line gets +8 pass block power and run block power simply with training points, which is insane. Taysom Hill right here. Looks like there's margin. So let's see if we can find Taysom Hill. This is obviously going to be one of his all-star athlete players that it's saying is up at 275K. I will say all-star athlete players, there's a lot of people sniping on this filter. It's a little harder than going down to some like random 95 overall card that less people are sniping on. We'll take some refreshes. We'll see if we can get lucky right here, but I'm not necessarily expecting us to go through and find this deal. Usually I'll take a couple of refreshes. If I don't see my card, I'm switching on to something else. I ain't got time to wait. And obviously, if you guys want to get on this website, which is called Mud Exchange, it is not free, but I believe it's about 15 to 20 bucks a month. And if you sign up with my promo code SWIFT, you're going to be going through and getting, I think it is a 20% discount. So if you want to do so and you want to make these snipes like I'm doing right here, I'll leave it linked in the description. We'll see how many coins we're able to make in 30 minutes. I would say we're up like 20K so far in a few minutes, but we haven't really gotten very lucky or really found any major snipes. It's saying Julian Edelman at 159. That's an all-star athlete. There's a lot of people sniping on those filters. I'm probably just going to pass on the all-star athletes if possible, just because so many people are looking on those filters. I'd rather find that like random 96 that people aren't looking on who's selling for a really good deal. We haven't found like a super high margin card. Levante David was a solid deal. AJ Green, it's saying at 35K, can make us a little bit of coins. Do I even filter it down right here? I'll take a look. AJ Green. Ooh, Marcus Stroud at 343 would actually be a really good deal. So let's take a look at Marcus Stroud right here and see if we can get lucky. Marcus Stroud at 343 is the number I'm looking for. I'm going to take a couple of refreshes. Hopefully this card pops up at that price, because that's a pretty high margin card if we're able to find him right here. So we'll take a couple couple of refreshes just in the hopes that he pops up. Obviously in the background, more deals are flowing through. I'm missing these deals to take a look at the Marcus Stroud card right here. But if this card pops up, this would be a really nice profit margin. And I'm not seeing him pop up quite yet, which is too bad. In terms of how much his 98 actually sells for, it's like 600K. Damn, bro. This 98 Marcus Stroud is expensive, dude. I mean, if we found that deal in this video, we would have been absolutely rolling in dough. Unfortunately, we don't happen to get so lucky. Obviously, I do have my filters right now set to be 93 pluses in the snipe spotter. So if I were to change that, I could probably find more deals and maybe like more of those 10,000 coin deals. But I'm kind of hunting a little bit for the big game. Nick Chubb at 180. It's saying I'm not going to make that snipe. As you guys can see, I see him posted up for 197, so we actually wouldn't be making coins right there. But that is the exact price that Mud Exchange had. Obviously, you need to use some discretion when it comes to actually making your purchases, because a lot of the time, maybe there'll be some margin on Mud Exchange, but when you actually look on the auction block, it doesn't look like there's a ton of margin right here. Jalen Waddle, Blur right here. Let's see if this card's going to pop up. Blur, it looks like we can buy at 129 and sell for 164. If he pops up at 129, it's actually a solid deal. We'll take a couple of refreshes to see if this card's going to pop up. Obviously, with Reduxes coming in the game today, there's actually quite a few Reduxes. It seems like getting posted up on the auction block. It seems like Redux is a filter to be looking at right now. There's a lot of people which seem to be pulling them, a lot of people posting them up for somewhat decent deals. So Reduxes, definitely someone to take a look at. Ed Too Tall Jones at 134. That obviously is going to be an all-star athlete, so it's unlikely we're finding that deal. If I want to, I can take a look at it, but I don't even think it's really worth filtering it down by the all-star athletes, just because I don't know if there's a ton of margin in there. Patrick Peterson, this would be a good buy. Patrick Peterson's combine card, like we talked about, really like that card. It says 216 he's up for. We can sell it 240, maybe a little more than 240. If we sell it 240, we're making only a touch of coin after tax. Let's see if we can maybe overprice this card a little bit, as in the background, the JPP sold that we bought at like 27K, but this card, I'm going to put him up for 240. I'm going to hope he sells 216. I don't know if that's a great buy, but we'll sell him for 240 and hopefully he's able to go at that price point. If he sold at that number in one of his recent sales, I'm usually pretty confident that I can do it again. It's not guaranteed though, right? It's never really guaranteed when it comes to selling these cards off. But for me, he's the second most expensive on the block, so I'm somewhat confident he's going to sell at that price. And usually if he sold like 20 minutes ago at that number, you can be pretty confident that your card will sell as well. AJ Brown, I will take a look at. I don't know if we're going to see this deal because I'm a little bit late. I was on my Patrick Peterson, but AJ Brown at 235, it's telling me I don't see this card posted up for 235. Maybe we take a couple of refreshes, but I think I'm a little bit late because I was looking at the other filter, which is kind of my bad right there. Obviously, that's what happens when you're sniping. You can't be everywhere. You can only be where you can be, but you're going to find deals pretty consistently, which is awesome. It's actually really fun to find these deals and make a little profit just by being on the block. Like, it's super fun. All right, Jonathan Ogden 95 at 70K. I do like that price. Obviously, as you guys can see, when it comes to finding these deals, I'm going last letter of their last name and then the first couple of letters of their first name. That's the easiest way to filter down. Jonathan Ogden at 75, it said. Obviously, these 95s and these 93 overall players, I'm gonna have a little more trouble sniping because people like you should be the one sniping it. You should be the one sitting on this filter and you should be the one seeing exactly when it gets posted up. Me personally, I'm not really in that situation because I'm flipping between everything so quickly that it might not pop up for me. Justin Tucker, it's saying at 60,000 coins. Don't see the card posted up quite yet. We'll see maybe in a couple of refreshes if he does drop at that price. And like I said before, sometimes Mud Exchange is actually earlier than the auction block, so it's a weird conundrum where you're gonna have to take a couple of refreshes and then maybe it pops up at that price. Again, I can't guarantee anything, but that's what I do. Okay, a couple other questions to answer as we wait for some deals to pop up in the background. We got some crazy ones right here queued up, I cannot lie. And the first question I see is, do you let it crust? That's absolute insanity. Absolute insanity. Next question, where's the best place to live in the world? That's a good one. If you guys didn't know, I've been living part-time in Miami and part-time in Canada. I live in Miami in the winters, which is absolutely electric. I absolutely love it there. It's super fun. And then I live in Canada in my hometown when it comes to the summertime, just because I don't have a visa to live full-time in the States. But I can't lie, out of all the places I've been in America, Miami, one of my favorites. I do also, I like some places on the West Coast. Seattle was like somewhat nice. Portland, Oregon was actually all right. I liked San Diego a lot. San Diego, Miami, those would probably be my top two. If you couldn't tell, I do like some of the warm weather places. Jameson Williams, I've had enough of the snow, bro. I've been in Canada my whole life. I've had enough of the snow. Let's take a look at Jameson Williams right here. It's saying 90K for this card. I see at 90. We will make that purchase and hopefully there's margin in here. Obviously, when it comes to these reduxes, a lot of people are pulling them right now, so the market's kind of all over the place, but at 90K, let's see what we can sell at. Okay, that's a good margin card right here. We'll put them up for 125K, and we're going to be making like 25K after tax right there. That's actually a really good buy. We'll absolutely take that solid profit margin, and probably one of our best snipes of the video, to be fully honest with you. Damian Woodley, can we do it again? I can't lie, I totally butchered that guy's name, but Damian Woody, it's saying at 110, or what's my buy price right here? Damian Woody at 110. I'm gonna take this, and hopefully we're able to sell this card for a good price. It was saying there'd be margin. We find the exact deal that SnipesPotter told us to. 110K is how much we just purchased for. He sold for 400K, but the reason why we kind of get screwed over right here is because that was coin selling. So we actually are going to take an L on this one. I'm going to try and post the card for 114. We'll see if we can get lucky and he sells at that price, but the reason why that number was inflated on MUT Exchange is because of coin buying and coin selling. Although I will say, look, there's only some posted up for 300, so maybe that card sells at 114, or maybe even a little bit more if we wanted to, and we could probably at the very least break even. But that was our first bad buy of the video, and that's actually on me fully. Saquon Barkley at 104. Saquon Barkley cards always have a lot of value, so I can maybe overprice this card if we're able to find him at 104. I don't see the card posted up quite yet. I'll take a couple of refreshes, and sometimes you can overprice these cards when you're selling them if they're a super wanted card. Although Saquon, I don't see on the second refresh. I'm not going to waste my time just waiting for Saquon Barkley to pop up. As you guys can see, the Damian Woody that I put up for 114 just popped up on SnipesPotter. The reason why it's doing that is because the recent sales that SnipesPotter uses got inflated from people buying coins and selling coins when they sold off a card for an expensive price. So that's kind of why we got screwed over right there. Although it's not a big deal, we're basically making all of our coins back. It is what it is, and it's something to check for. When I was on the Woody filter, I only saw cards posted up for 300K. That's kind of why I greenlighted it in my head, because I was like, damn, maybe this card's selling for a more expensive price. Although I will say, I do think that was coin buying and coin selling going on in the background. As you guys can see, in terms of what cards are popping up the most right here, it is absolutely 95 and 96s. If you're in a situation where you want to snipe 95 to 96s and 93 overall players, those are the ones I'm absolutely seeing the most volume on when it comes to sniping. Those 95 overall players, if you find them at like 80K, you can flip them all for 100,000. That's where I would really be if I was sniping in this game and I wasn't using SnipesPotter. Now, obviously, if you got SnipesPotter, you're in a situation where your profit margins can maybe be a little bit larger. Let's take a look at Taysom Hill. Again, it's saying that card's posted up. I don't even think that this card is showing on the auction block. This could be some type of glitch. 271. I don't see that card posted up. And even if we do find that card, I'm not super confident I can sell him off for a really, really good price. It seems like that might just be one to avoid right here. 2 at 300 would actually be a good deal. 2 at 300 would actually be a good deal. There's definitely margin in there. 300 can sell for 388. Let's take a couple of refreshes and see if this card pops up right here, because if he does, I do believe there should be some margin here. We might have already missed our shot, which is too bad. I don't know if I filtered down fast enough. I'm not seeing this card quite yet. It would be a nice snipe. I'm seeing one up for 400, so the margin is absolutely there if we find it 3. Just not seeing it. We'll take maybe 2 more refreshes. Whenever there's a really good deal like this, I'm willing to take like 3, 4 refreshes on the filter, just because if it ends up popping up, it's absolutely worth doing. If it was like a 10K profit snipe, I'm not in a situation where I need to be on my hands and knees begging EA Sports to release it. Nah, we're not going to do that for like a 10,000 coin snipe, but for 40K, yeah, I could get on my hands and knees and absolutely do that right here. Ray Nitschke posted up. I see a Patrick Peterson posted up at 206. I'm not going to do another Pat Pete. A2 Tall Jones doesn't look like enough margin right there. Juju Smith-Schuster, that would be profit. And again, this is one of the cards that you guys can be sniping. A 93 overall player is absolutely a card that you guys can be sniping. And honestly, on this Juju Smith-Schuster, there's probably someone else that found this card before me, because when it comes to these Gridiron Guardian, or sorry, Genki Force 93s, that's a very popular sniping filter in this game that I know a lot of people are looking at. Garrett Wilson, I've seen that card pop up a couple times. Might just kind of be a Taysom Hill situation where he's not really there. It's popping up on SnipesPotter, but he's not really there, so we're not going to really waste our time filtering. Demario Davis, don't see a ton of profit, but as you guys can see, there's coins to be made literally every second when you're on SnipesPotter, which is crazy. Levante David, I believe we already got one of those cards. Hopefully mine's able to sell. I think I put mine up for like 245. That actually could be my card right there that they're saying someone should snipe, so hopefully someone buys that and takes my profit, which I'm down for. I think we got that card for 200, so we'll absolutely take that. Randall McDaniel, we're not going to filter down over there. A couple other questions people asked. One is, what is the best abilities to put on your corners and safeties in this game? I think KOs are the name of the game. Honestly, if you're running a zone scheme, there's actually some corners that get all their KOs for a cheaper price than universal coverage. Now, if you didn't know, universal coverage is the equivalent of deep zone KO, mid zone KO, and flat zone KO. But on some corners, you can actually get that stack for 1 AP instead of the 2 AP that it's going to cost for universal coverage. Now, universal coverage also gives you the short route KO, medium route KO, and deep route KO when it comes to man coverage, which that can be helpful for a lot of people. But for me personally, if you're running zone every single play, I would just get those KOs for however you can in the cheapest way possible. Also, secure tackler kind of becoming a necessity. If you guys watch my gameplay video that I'm posting tomorrow, Derrick Henry angry runs, insane. Anthony Edwards angry runs, insane. Super frustrating. They break every tackle. So if you have secure tackler, you're going to be fine. You're going to make those conservative tackles. I'd recommend you just go through your cards, and whoever can get it for 0 AP, start with that. My defensive line, my linebackers, all of them could get it for 0. I started with that. I put it on all those players. Or if there's a safety who always tends to be in the box for me, maybe it's worth trying to get it on that. But linebackers and defensive line, secure tacklers for 0 wherever you possibly can. I strongly recommend it. Calvin Johnson right here. Calvin Johnson at, what is that? 308K. Are you serious? Are you serious? If I find this deal for 308K, I'm literally going to be running around my living room. I must be too late. I must be too late. If he pops up, that's going to be insane. Oh my God. If he popped up at 308K, let's take a couple of refreshes, because you never know, bro. That's the type of thing we're absolutely going to take a couple of refreshes on. Is there anyone sniping on this 98 overall filter? Absolutely. There's a lot of competition, but at 308K, that would be an absolutely insane deal. That'd be 500,000 coins of profit margin, was it? Holy smokes, bro. Someone else just landed that deal, and they're absolutely running around their living room right now. We did not get so lucky. At least I don't think. We probably missed the boat. It took me too long to go through and put the quality filter in. I guess there's a lot of people that's first name ends with an N, and they have like Johnson as their last name, so we kind of got screwed over right there. Unfortunately, we don't find that deal. What can you do? There's more of them will get posted up. As you guys can see, deals get posted up just so consistently on those filters that you can absolutely find prices, that you can absolutely find deals basically every couple of refreshes. I'm looking at Sean Spriggs in the background. It said there was profit margin in there. I don't see this 95 posted up. Ring of Honor 95s, that seems like a filter you guys are going to want to take a look at, because brother, I am seeing a lot of Ring of Honor 95s get posted up on Mud Exchange. So if you guys want to filter, again, Ring of Honor 95s in general seems to be the consensus best deals. You can sell those 95s off for 100K. You can buy them for 80. You can buy them for 60, whatever it may be. There's a lot of margin when it comes to the 95 overall players. Those are absolutely a good one to look at. Caleb Williams, John Lynch, kind of smaller snipes that I'm not super concerned with. I mean, I could look at a lot of these, but I'm not gonna. Mike McGlinchey, that's a price that looks solid for the card. Mike McGlinchey, there would be margin in there. They say 45K. Don't see the card posted up. I see one up for 53. So even if we find it 45, not a ton of margin. We'll take a couple of refreshes. We're actually getting pretty unlucky right here. I'm not seeing these deals posted up. I've had more success on Mud Exchange in the past, which is too bad, but I think we're just getting a little bit unlucky. Sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. There's really nothing you can do when it comes to like controlling this and making sure you're gonna find your deals. Mata Beast would be nice right here. How much does it say he's going for? 90K, and we can sell for 125. We'll take a couple of refreshes on this one, because this would be a solid deal. So let's take 2, maybe 3. But Redux is a filter to look at, and 95 overall players is a filter to look at. Those are absolutely the 2 right now that it seems like are giving you the most deals. So if you want to take a look at those 2 filters, absolutely would recommend it. Those are 2 where I think you're gonna have life, and I think you're gonna be in a situation where you can maybe find some snipes. All right, it says Braden Smith at 98K. Let's take a couple of refreshes on this, see if Braden Smith is gonna pop up at that price point. I would say so far for this video, I'm a little bit disappointed. I haven't really found as many deals as I was hoping for. I actually thought we'd have a lot more volume when it comes to snipes. Maybe I'm being too picky and not filtering down enough. Maybe I'm not being patient enough and not like waiting on each of these filters for long enough. We'll see. I don't know if I'm screwing someone up, but I'm a little bit disappointed in myself and a little bit disappointed that I haven't found as many deals as I would have liked. But again, the point of this video is to be as authentic as possible, so that's what we're going to try and do. Marcus Stroud again. It's saying is posted up. It seems like there's some funny business when it comes to these cards and saying they're posted, because I'm seeing these cards, it's saying they're dropping, but they're just not appearing, and it's the same cards over and over again, which is a little bit annoying. Deion Sanders 95 at 150K. Let's take a look at that, because that actually would be a solid profit card right here. So Deion Sanders at 150, that's the number we're looking for. I don't see him posted up on the block quite yet. Let's take maybe 2 or 3 refreshes on this card. It's going to be the 95 overall that we're looking for, and that 95 overall actually is a really good card. The reason why there's margin there is because people want that corner Deion Sanders card. I don't see him posted up quite yet though, which is too bad. Mr. Joe Montana at 266 is a number to look at. Ricky Jackson at 308, they're saying. Wow, that would be a really good deal. That would be a nice way to end the video off if we find a Ricky Jackson right here at 308K. So let's see if we're able to see that card at 308. That's the number we're looking for. Obviously, his 98 overall sells for a pretty good amount of coins. He's selling for 556, and it's saying there's going to be one posted at 308. So let's take a couple of refreshes and see if we can get lucky right here and hit this deal. I think I might not be being patient enough, because I've actually done Mud Exchange before, and the issue has been that I'm not waiting long enough on each filter. So maybe we'll try and wait a little bit longer on this one and see if we get lucky. 308 is the number we're looking for. I don't want to wait more than like a minute. Waiting a minute seems pretty excessive, but anything past that, I don't think we need to do. We'll wait a couple, do a couple of refreshes. If we don't get lucky, we pop on over to something else. And I'm not really seeing the volume of these deals that I was hoping for. Like I said, I've done this off camera, had a bit more success. The issue seems to be, it's like saying the same cards are posted up when they're not posted up, which is a little bit annoying. I was hoping we'd have a lot more activity and a lot more action in today's video. Like Braden Smith, it keeps saying he's posted up for 100K. I don't believe it. I don't think he's actually posted up for 100,000 coins. I don't think there's a card there. I think it's saying he is, but I don't think he's actually posted up at that price point, which is kind of annoying and nothing really we can do. Sometimes, obviously, you guys will see, I'll find the deal right away. Like at the start of the video, we were finding the deal right away. Now it's just not really appearing for me, which is a little bit too bad, but I wanted to keep this video as authentic as possible. We got a few more minutes left on the timer before we go for this one, so let's see if we can maybe find maybe 2 or 3 deals at the end here to end off with a little bit of a bang. We'll go Eric Armstead. I'm gonna maybe start to filter on over to more of these cards. I wasn't really like looking at these cards that said they had lower profit margin earlier, but let's actually start filtering on over to these lower cards that say they don't have a ton of profit margin. Eric Armstead at 103 is the number we're looking for. His 96 is up for 137, so if it pops up for 103, and there's definitely going to be margin and there's definitely going to be profit to be made, but I'm just not seeing it popping up for, I'm not seeing it popping up. I don't know where this card is. I don't think anyone else filtered right away. Okay, there it is, 103K. We had to be a little bit more patient, but there's the deal. We got a solid deal. We'll sell this card off for 130, and that's actually a pretty solid amount of margin. As in the background, Jameson Williams is selling, Patrick Peterson is selling, so we're making a little bit of profit on those. We just bought at 103. This card is selling at 108. That is not good. I am going to put this card up for 121, 122, and we'll see if he sells at that. Obviously, overpricing your cards, it does work, and it's a method you guys can use when it comes to getting a little bit more value out of some of your players. All right, Cooper Kupp, it's saying we can find at 119K. 119 would be a solid flip and pretty solid profit, so we'll take a couple of refreshes, and again, I think being patient is probably the number one piece of advice I can give you if you're using Mud Exchange. If you're not using Mud Exchange, you don't need to be patient because you don't really know what deals are coming. I'd recommend you kind of flip between more filters, but this Cooper Kupp at 116 would be a solid buy. I see one at 143, so there's absolutely margin in there, and there are absolutely coins to be made. Let's see if this card pops up. 2 more refreshes, and then we'll take a look at something else. I'm just kind of pre-looking in the background to see where we're going to go next. Maybe Vernon Davis wouldn't be a bad card to look at. We'll have a little bit of patience, though. Andrew Wiley, no, not enough margin there, and I feel like I've seen that card a bunch. Also, now I'm thinking back to the Calvin Johnson, and I probably should have taken more refreshes on that filter. I probably should have honestly spent like 3 minutes on that filter, because if that card popped up for 300K, that would have been an absolutely insane deal and an insane snipe. I think a lot of the time they do pop up. It just takes a little bit longer. Like it can take up to 3 minutes, I believe. I think for some people's accounts, they pop up at different times. I guess that's kind of how some people will land snipes and how others will miss them. But let's find one more before we go for this video. I see a Harrison Smith at 106. Margin in there probably isn't enough for me to really make the move. There's a Jim Taylor. I don't see enough margin in there either. Let's wait till we find a good one, and I'll come back to you guys. Brian Urlacher at 140K. This would actually be a solid deal to end the video off. 140K into 170 is pretty good margin. We'll take a couple of refreshes and wait for this card to pop up. Hopefully it pops up in maybe 2 or 3 refreshes. If not, I'm probably going to call it because I do believe we are getting to that 30-minute timer. In total profit, I want to say we probably made maybe 50 to 60,000 coins, which is actually disappointing. I was hoping it'd be at least 100,000 coins of profit. We do have quite a few more cards to sell off, but we didn't really find the volume of snipes that I was hoping for. I really thought we'd be going through and finding more deals, but I did want to try this video, and if you guys were intrigued by it, you liked it, be sure to scroll down and drop a like, and until next time, that is the 30-minute sniping challenge complete. If you want a longer one, let me know, or a part 2 to this. I'm willing to do either, so let me know by dropping a comment, and until next time, I'm out. Love y'all. See ya. You guys are the best. Peace.